welcome back. Hope your day is just as beautiful as you and it's grand. Hopefully this video can actually help make your day a little bit better too. Anyway, welcome back. I'm glad you're visiting my channel again. I just did a video that gave an overview of hostels. So now I'm going to go into finding hostels, determining which one best fits you, and then how to book it. So, my very first tip is book early. Book early. I cannot say this enough. Many hostels will offer early bird specials. So the earlier, the better. Plus, a lot of these hostels are very popular and they don't have a ton of rooms or beds, so availability will decrease significantly last minute. However, if you are traveling and just kind of staying as you go, a lot of hostels will have cancellations or somehow there will be an empty bed. Not guaranteed. It's kind of just variable depending on which one. A lot of the popular ones are booked solid 90% of the time. So if you're in an off season, you might be better. There's a better chance of you getting a walk-in bed. But because of the early bird specials, I definitely highly recommend booking as soon as you know your travel dates. So once you know your travel dates and you're going to book a hostel, there's many different formats. Formats is not the right word. What was I trying to get at? Formats. I don't know. There's a lot of booking platforms. I think platforms is the word I was looking for. I'm sorry, the sun is distorting my thoughts today, I guess, because I haven't seen it in so long. It's great living in Michigan. Um, Coming back to hostels. So yes, there are many different booking formats that you can book hostels through. Many people don't even know that they're out there. So if you find your dates and you're like, I'm going to try staying in the hostel, my next step would be to research what hostels are in the area. So you can usually find hostels maybe on Expedia. I don't know if they're on booking.com, but I've seen them on Airbnb. There's also I've heard of Hostel Geeks. I use Hostel World a lot. Or you can book directly through the hostels, and most of the time that is the best route to go. So once you've determined your dates, you know which area you're going. Let's say you're going to Atlanta, Georgia. My recommendation is just to get on a search engine and search hostels in the area. This is going to pull up a bunch of different options. I'm guessing the most popular ones will be the ones available on booking websites or apps like Hostel World. But a lot of them are more locally owned by somebody who just lives there and is offering part of their house up or whatever it may be. So definitely look on a search engine. I use Google Maps. It is great, gives me a lot of hostels. And then when you click on them, you can get their contact information on their website and reviews too. So you can kind of look into them a bit more. So once you've kind of gotten a lay of land, you've looked at the different hostels, I would say the next best thing is to figure out what kind of trip you're planning on. And with that comes, what kind of hostel are you looking for? Yes, believe it or not, there are different types of hostels out there. So hostels come in so many different varieties, even more so than hotels. Hotels, no matter what brand, are often very similar, where hostels are more like an Airbnb or bed and breakfast. So they range, I mean, they can be as much as just like a one room bed in this house that somebody is giving the opportunity for people to stay in, or it's a full fledged like hostel company where there's multiples of this brand. So there are so many hostels. There's super cheap hostels out there, and these are hostels that are very inexpensive. However, they often don't have as nice a facility. They are still clean most of the time, but they just don't have a lot of amenities. Maybe they only have a small kitchen, or they don't have a kitchen at all. They just offer a bed. Many times the locations of these hostels are they're in a location that most people don't want to stay in. So maybe if you're driving a car and you don't mind driving into a city center, or you don't mind driving a little ways to your ideal location, then that's definitely not a bad thing. There are also hostels that are more expensive, that are maybe like located in a city center or near big event arenas, or even like activity locations like ski hills and mountains. So if you're looking for more of a hiking or activity place, there are hostels for that. So there are hostels where they specifically cater to whatever activity or event area is nearby. So those will usually have the facilities and amenities that you will need for whatever kind of activity you're doing. So maybe you will need extra space to store your skis, or a shuttle. Some of these places will offer that. Other places may be party hostels. Those are going to be ones located on like right next to the bars or clubs, or on very highly, I'd say, all night streets, like 6th Street in Austin, Texas. I stayed at the Firehouse Hostel there, which was really nice. However, it was very much a party hostel, and the music never stopped. Never stopped. It went on all night. I think it only stopped for an hour between like 4 and 5 a.m. But yeah, there's drunk people all over. They're very much there to party. Um, so if you're not looking for that, I definitely don't recommend staying at one of those. If you are, it's all for you. A lot of times those ones have a lot of younger people too. So there are hostels out there that have more of a family style, where you will actually meet people who are traveling in their families. So they're going to be more, not as young people there, maybe more older, a whole bunch of an array of people. There's also more cozy ones, which are going to be more like your bed and breakfasts. They're going to have more of a homey feel. Usually, these are people who have transformed their home into a home hostel. Or maybe there's bougie ones. There are some really bougie ones out there that cost a little bit more. And then there's also like hostels out there, like 5-star hotels. So there are so many different types out there. So I definitely recommend determining what kind of trip you're going to go on, what kind of hostel you'd like to stay in, and then what area of the city, town, or location that you're going that you'd want to stay in. Those three things will kind of help determine which hostels would probably best fit you. And there are a couple other things you can kind of figure out when it comes to hostels. And this might actually, there are a lot of factors that might determine if you want to stay at that hostel or not. And that can include the amenities. A lot of hostels usually only have a kitchen and a shared space, and then the dorms. Some of them don't offer parking. So if you're going to take a car, maybe that's not the best one, or they offer paid parking, or they have free parking. A lot of hostels will have different amenities, like laundry. Sometimes it will be very expensive. Sometimes it'll be cheap. Sometimes the washing machines may not be the greatest. A lot of places have like hot tubs or saunas, so pay attention to those. If that's like on your must list, then I would look for hostels with those. Um, and it also kind of depends on what hostel you're staying at, if they have any connections in the city. So a lot of places will give you like coupons or promotions, where if you go to certain places certain days of the week, then you get like 20% off your beer, or 20% off your meal. They will have deals with local restaurants and stuff, and those are great to look out for. And there will also be a lot of hostels that have restaurants, bars, cafes in the actual hostel. They won't be free most of the time, but usually, like I know I've stayed in hostels where as soon as you check in, they give you a free beer, or they give you a coupon for like 50% off a beer, in their actual hostel, cafe, or bar. And honestly, it's just nice if you have a long day and you really don't want to go around find something to eat, you can just eat at your hostel. Um, it's a great opportunity. So there's a lot of different factors that can determine which hostel you choose to stay in. So definitely figure out what amenities are very important to you. And then figure out I would kind of write a list down what kind of trip you're looking for, what kind of area you want to stay in, what kind of hostel you want, and then what amenities are important. And then I would go on a search engine and just kind of look and see which one matches those the best. I use Google Maps. I search that, like I mentioned, and then I click on all of those and kind of research about them a little bit. I'll visit their website. Visiting their Instagram is a good page too. If you visit their Instagram and then like the tagged photos, Facebook too, I'm sure is good. You can kind of get a feel for what like the point of view of the guests from there. It is just a really good opportunity to see more about the dorms. What kind of, is it modern? Is it old? Is it kind of run down? Is it clean? Um, so that's kind of nice to look at photos. I also read a ton of people's reviews. I will go through Google and read all of the Google reviews. I will also get onto Airbnb and or Expedia and read the reviews on that. Um, there are also like Hostel World has reviews. If you have any questions, call the receptionist, ask. Most of the time, like mentioned, they work there, they're doing a work stay or whatever, so they can honestly answer your questions pretty well. And if you still have any reservations, you can always do a deep search on their Facebook or their website. And again, if it's not answered via some kind of website platform or a phone call, then I would probably lean towards a different one. If they're maybe not being communicative through that, then maybe they're not going to be the best to go through because other communication could be disrupted too. So, and a lot of places have like different types of specials going on or like off-season specials, so just be aware of that too. I just stayed in a Canadian hostel, which is they're really nice. The Canadian international hostels are fabulous. They're really nice, really new, really well ran. um, and like during their off season they are dead, so I got really cheap and I had an entire room to myself, which is fabulous. It's like paying for a hotel. And a lot of places will have shampoo and conditioner in their bathrooms, or they'll have towels, hair dryers. Those are other things to keep in mind. Not all of the hostels have that, so just pay attention. If you have any questions, call. They're here to help you. They want you to stay with them, and they're there to make your life better. So once you book, or once you figure out which one you want to book, I would also look at cancellation fees or times dates. So a lot of hostels are pretty lax on this, where most hotels are non-refundable if you have to cancel. Where hostels will be like, oh, you can cancel up until like the week before or the day before. They're pretty chill. Or I've had it where I've had to cancel and reschedule, and they don't charge me. They will just move the booking for me. So they're really, honestly, really easy to work with if you give them a call or email. Totally easy. So yeah, I recommend staying. Give it a shot. Meet people, experience wonderful just community atmosphere. Definitely do it. Stay tuned for more videos on hostels and traveling, and I hope you have a fabulous day.